Hello, this is Chris Flintoff from Not the Andrew Marr Show. We've been covering all the protests since October. If you want to see more of these, then please subscribe if you haven't already.
Pretty energetic, passionate and joyful. It's not, you know, I know there's all this stuff in the hate marches or oh, it's dangerous. I come alone a lot of the time. I see kids, there is nothing that makes me even vaguely nervous about any of it. It's energetic, it's passionate, these people care, and they care not because it affects their lives, and that's what's so interesting. You see people from all walks of life. It's like, I don't even know what they're protesting. They're protesting us. Like, what are they standing for? It's so unclear. They just are, anything that mentions Palestine, they just want to be there to counter it, but it's not thought through. And this to me is so obvious, and I don't understand like what their purpose is. It was tiny, they're rude, like I saw them on the last march, they are vile, they are crude, they swear, you don't see that in our march. But it was quite shocking the first time I saw them because they were just so vile. I was never going to vote Tory, but I am not voting Labour either, and that is a direct result of what I've seen since this whole episode began. Labour disgusts me, and you know, the famous interview where he said it was fine to cut off water and electricity, and then I watched other members of the Labour Party justify that comment on Newsnight, on like David Lammy and Emily Thornberry. I was just so disgusted. I am never voting Labour again.
I cannot vote for Labour. I used to be a member of Labour. I cannot vote for Labour. I cannot trust people who cannot speak up against genocide. Because you can talk about the local hospital, you can talk about the local services, but if you keep quiet when you see hospitals being bombed, if you keep quiet when you see schools being bombed, how can I trust what you say about hospitals or schools in Lewisham?
I mean, usually I voted Labour, but even now I'm kind of questioning that. I'm reconsidering it and looking into other options. And looking for a party that's going to represent my value, like actually represent my values, and not just because they're the lesser of two evils or whatever.
I've been Labour all my life. Now I walk around with these badges because Starmer has destroyed the Labour Party. As soon as he came in, it was clear which way he was going to go. He's changed. He's done an entire U-turn on what everything that socialism is supposed to be. He stands for nothing. There's no difference between him and what the Tories are trying to do. Now I can only hope that in opposition we can get someone or an organisation or a party who will actually try and pull them to the left than to push them to the right. So I see a dearth of possibilities. Who will I vote? I'll vote Green. And there's nothing else. We're politically homeless. Most of us who are Labour, we have nowhere to go.
George Galloway is the only one who is standing against the Zionists. Simple.
We're working very hard. We've galvanised the community and we're out to win. We need to kick Labour out. We need a people-powered democracy.
245 days. 245 days of mass murder. 245 days of mass destruction. 245 days of genocide. 225 days of silence. Only last 24 hours. Only the last 24 hours. Israel has slaughtered, has killed 200 innocent people in Gaza, mostly women and children. I am running out of words. I am running out of words, not only to describe the horror we are witnessing every single day. No, I am running out of words to help me understand how world leaders, how mainstream media cannot see, cannot report, cannot act. I have questions. I have questions like you do. How do they sleep? How do they sleep when they see the pictures of skeletal children shaking with fear, dying of an engineered famine in Gaza? How can they sleep when they see the child Ahmed al-Najjar, an 18 months old baby, beheaded in Rafah by a US-made bomb? I know, I can't sleep. I know you can't sleep. I can't get Ahmed's image out of my head. Why are those pictures not on your front page every day? Why? How do world leaders justify support for a state that is starving 2.3 million people? How do they justify support for a state that is forcing 2.3 million people into tents? How do they justify supporting a rogue state that is bombing people's homes, people's hospitals, people's schools, and using disease and food as weapons of war? How? How does your government continue to support a state that directly contradicts the government's here commitment to allow unfettered access of humanitarian aid? How can they continue to describe this as self-defense? How can they continue to justify their political and material support to the genocidal state of Israel for a state that has dropped more bombs supplied by the US in 8 months in the tiny territory of Gaza than the Allied bombing, the entire Allied bombing of Germany during the whole World War II war.
After 8 months of Zionist genocide against the Palestinian people, a few things have become abundantly clear. Firstly, the Americans, the Germans, and the Brits, among others, are not only complicit, but they are instrumental in Israel's attempt to erase Palestinians from Gaza. In fact, only today, the US announced its complicity in the killing of 200 Palestinians in central Gaza. The US is not only complicit, but it has its hands on the throats of Palestinians as we speak. So not only are they complicit, but Without American weapons and British surveillance and, crucially, diplomatic cover, the genocidal Zionist entity cannot continue its path of evil. Secondly, there are no partners for peace in the government of the Zionist entity. Let me repeat that. There are no partners for peace in the government of the Zionist entity. Peace cannot exist without justice, and there is not a single member of the Zionist entity's government who seeks justice. They seek racial supremacy between the river and the sea. They seek the complete destruction of Gaza and the removal of all Palestinians. They seek to build beachfront properties on the mass graves of Palestinian children, just as they built their state on the mass graves of Palestinians in 1948. So let me say it one more time. There are no partners for peace in the government of the Zionist entity. And thirdly, the walls are closing down on Zionism. History has taught us again and again that tyranny is always defeated in the end, and the genocidal Zionist entity is no exception. The horror that they unleashed on the Palestinians has cemented Zionism as the greatest evil of our age.
We have been coming out here for 8 months and calling for no ceasefire, no vote. The time, my friend, has come to put our slogan into action. If we want to stop the genocide, it is our moral and ethical duty to prioritize Palestine at the next general election. We must make sure power is not handed over to the warmongers. We must work to have new MPs that support for an end to genocide and a free Palestine. I therefore request, first, we need to ensure none of us, our friends or our family, vote for those who oppose the ceasefire. Second, we need to volunteer and actively campaign for candidates who are demanding an end to genocide, a stop of supplying military arms to Israel, and calling for an end to Israeli occupation. For our campaign to be successful, we will need to put in the hours. Let us engage and work hard for the next parliament to be a voice of the people before the businesses and the lobbyists take over and continue with the genocide. We owe it to justice, equality, and most of all, to the people of Gaza. If we make our efforts over the next few weeks, then and only then, whatever the results, we will be able to face the future generations and Palestinians and say, we tried our best to stop the genocide.
It is these people in our government, in the Labour Party, in our political establishment who are supporting these crimes, and they are fueling these crimes, and they are now coming to us wanting our vote. These genocide supporters, these senders of weapons to Israel, these people who bomb the Houthis for supporting the Palestinians, they all want our vote. But I tell you, friends, hell could freeze over before I would give a vote to any of these people.
I just want to share some words from a poem that I wrote called Impossible, for those of you who can't see the end of this. Impossible is a word that people use to describe something they can't do. Sometimes they might want to be sadistic, claim they're only being realistic, as if what you want is nigh impossible. As if they would love you to think you'll lie in hospital for defying obstacles and trying not to fall, but their impossible isn't my impossible. There are no winners until someone's won it. We won't know what we're capable of until we've done it. I could either stand here patient and listen, wanting to make a decision, having to wait for permission, or I could stand up and take a position. Impossible is the manifestation of your inhibition, so fear of flying is fear of trying. Imagine your mind's racing and your heart isn't out to help. They're turning against you and you're starting to doubt yourself. The nights get cold, the mornings get rough. Now you're worrying about people calling your bluff, second guessing your ability and all of your stuff, but no, you alone is more than enough. This is the truth I saw before I went to sleep. We knew this day would come eventually, so I celebrate every test ever sent to me, because what's about to be was meant to be. It's remarkable to try, but we can't afford to die, knowing that ambition didn't kill us. Forget what they say. Listen to the real us. Free Palestine. Thank you.
Good afternoon, London. First of all, I'd like to thank the Jewish Bloc for giving me space. I'm a guest here. I've come from Germany. Germany, the country that perpetrated the Holocaust and which has failed so spectacularly to learn the lesson from those crimes that it is now supporting and arming genocide once again. Shame on Germany! And I'm here to represent a group of Jews in Germany. We are the Jewish voice for a just peace in the Middle East. And I have come here to meet, thank you, I've come here to meet with Jews from 16 countries, representing a wealth of organizations just like ours. 16 countries, we have representatives on every continent. We have come together and we speak with one unified voice. We don't just say not in our name. We say that we reject the racist colonial ideology of Zionism. We reject the desecration of our identity by the people who want to make Jews into oppressors and murderers. We condemn the Jewish institutions and organizations all over the world who have failed a simple moral test. They were given the choice between supporting justice or supporting genocide, and they chose to support genocide, and we say shame on them as well. And we say with that same unified voice that we stand in full and unconditional solidarity with our Palestinian siblings all over the world. We say we do not follow the logic that the oppression of our people demands the oppression of another people. Instead, we follow the words of Marek Edelman, one of the leaders of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, who said that to be a Jew means always to be with the oppressed and never with the oppressor. But of course, that is not only a principle for Jews. That is a principle for all people of conscience to live by, whatever their ethnicity, their religion, their culture, their background. And we all stand together, and these marches for Palestine are among the most diverse in any social movement. They are not hate marches. The Zionist marches we see are hate marches. These are marches of humanity, marches for justice. And we have learned these lessons in justice from the Palestinians, who have taught us the meaning of resilience and resistance in so many ways, whether it's just kids going to school while settlers throw stones at them, or whether it's building a makeshift classroom when your city has been destroyed in the middle of a genocide. We say Zionism will be brought down. We will decolonize Judaism, and Palestine will be free. in our thousands, in our millions. Thank you.
And I came here today with a lot of messages. One, solidarity from the U.S., especially with the students of Columbia University, because I just heard y'all have encampments out here today. And I heard there's 175,000 of y'all. Guess what? Y'all just officially made this an international day of solidarity. You know why? Because right now, as we speak, we got over 50,000 of my comrades, my brothers and sisters and friends and family, on their way to the White House today in America to surround the White House to draw a red line. Right now, as we speak in America. So solidarity, international solidarity from the UK all the way to the White House in DC. We will be outside screaming, what? Free, free? Free, free? Free, free? You damn right. Now hold on, I got another message for y'all. There's been a lot of bullshit going on out here. We gotta hold these politicians accountable, right? If they don't do what we need, and if they don't give us what we ask for, then what we gotta do? We gotta vote them out, right? We gotta replace them, right? Most importantly, we gotta put those in office that stand in solidarity with the Palestinian people right now. That being said, I want to shout out my brother Jeremy Corbyn. I know y'all know him, right? Yeah, shout out my brother Jeremy Corbyn. He's running right now, and I need y'all to put him in office because he stands with the people of Palestine, he stands with the people of London, he stands with the working class. And I can tell you right now, back home in America, Genocide Joe gotta go.
Yesterday, it was announced that the UN is placing Israel on a list of countries that have committed abuses against children. From the start, we have said that this is a war on women and children. 2/3 of those killed are women and children. At least 15,000 children are dead. Many more will be trapped under the rubble. There are 3,000 children who have faced amputations, some multiple amputations. 10 children a day face an amputation with no anaesthetic. 600,000 children are sheltering in tents in Rafah with little or no sanitation. No food, no water, no medication. Your aid trucks are lined up at the border and Israel refuses to allow them in. Aid agencies are saying that children are so dehydrated and malnourished they can no longer cry. More children have been killed in Gaza since October than in all the conflicts worldwide in the last 4 years. We need an immediate and permanent ceasefire now more than ever, an end to arms sales to Israel, and the immediate restoration and increase in funding to UNRWA. I'm going to end with a poem for the children. Remember their names. They're not numbers. They had a right to life, to freedom, to food, to education. The poem's called Write My Name. Write my name on my leg, Mama. Use the black permanent marker with the ink that doesn't bleed if it gets wet. The one that doesn't melt if it's exposed to heat. Write my name on my leg, Mama. Make the lines thick and clear. Add your special flourishes so I can take comfort in seeing my mama's handwriting when I go to sleep. Write my name on my leg, Mama, and on the legs of my sisters and my brothers. This way we will belong together. This way we will be known as your children. Write my name on my leg, Mama, and please write your name and Baba's name on your legs too, so we will be remembered as a family. Write my name on my leg, Mama. Don't add any numbers, like when I was born, or the address of our home. I don't want the world to list me as a number. I have a name. I'm not a number. Write my name on my leg, Mama. When the bomb hits our house, when the walls crush our skulls and bones, our legs will tell our story, how there was nowhere for us to run.
Sam Rose is a director of planning for the United Nations Relief and Works Agency. Last week, he responded to the attack on the school in Gaza by saying, "We have normalized horror. We have normalized horror." And I thought, well, how do you normalize horror? And then I remembered in 2014, The Guardian had this headline: Israel bans radio advert linking the names of children killed in Gaza. So I wrote, don't mention the children. Don't name the dead children. The people must not know the names of the dead children. The names of the children must be hidden. The children must be nameless. The children must leave this world having no names. No one must know the names of the dead children. No one must say the names of the dead children. No one must even think that the children have names. People must understand that it would be dangerous to know the names of the children. The people must be protected from knowing the names of the children. The names of the children could spread like wildfire. The people would not be safe if they knew the names of the children. Don't name the dead children. Don't remember the dead children. Don't think of the dead children. Don't say dead children.
دانيا منصور، جود اللمداني، عبد أبو جودة، عائشة أبو جودة، عمر زينو، جودي الرملاوي، أمال خضر. All those kids are 6 years old. أحمد غباينة، بيسان غباينة، زين البحطاني، أحيد خضر، ريتال الرملاوي، Saeed al-Ramlawi. All those kids are 5 years old. Fathi al-Mansour, Mecca al-Luh, Lina Khadr. All those kids are 4 years old.
كنزي غباين، عبد الكريم الرملاوي، إماد مصطفى اللوح. All those kids are 4 years old. ماريا البحطيني، جودي منصور، خالد أبو هلال. All these kids are 3 years old. كينان خضر، مسك غباين، جوليا منصور، ميرا غباين، قدس اللحى، لؤي خادر، صفا الرملاوي. All these kids are 2 years old.